Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to those who are in the UK time zone or nearby. Let's give each other a few more seconds. I can see some people joining in. We had a number of nice questions that have been coming in the Ask Me Anonymously link. You can still look at the link on the screen and ask me even right now. Your chat messages are not public, it comes only to me. The main reason we made it anonymous is to have the sense of safety, so feel free. Yeah, I see some more questions coming in, and I have the list of questions I got in the last week. And I have some slides prepared for this. All right, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mindly Wellbeing Weekly webinar. Here we discuss practical result-based tips on managing our mental health. And one of the key things we do is have a link called Ask Me Anonymously, where you can send questions in advance and get your answers for free and anonymously safely. My name is Jeev Sahoo like Yahoo. Um, I'm a common man. I'm not a psychologist who is coming and telling you how to run your life. I've been an employee, leader, business owner, manager, investor, and so forth. And while doing all these things, life happened. And my initial introduction to mental health was through bereavement counseling. I did not even know there is something called bereavement counseling. I thought this is stress, this is burnout. And later, when I got officially certified in cognitive behavioral therapy, I was just doing it for myself until COVID happened. And when I was talking with some of the other business owners, and they gave me feedback that these frameworks are working. And this is how we all started. So feel free to ask questions, and there is no silly question. We are all here together. I understand there is a stigma associated with mental health, mental well-being, and it is two-sided. One side is from a good perspective where people don't know what if I say something and it will hurt someone. At the same time, which is the bigger reason. The second one is, um, am I being judged if I talk about my mental well-being? If I share with someone that I'm feeling anxious or something, what will the other person think? And especially if you're a team leader, business owner, founder, investor, you don't know how the other person is perceiving you. Will you lose the deal? Will you lose the investment? Will you lose the growth plan? But inside, we all need help. And so don't worry, we are all here together. There is no need to be alone, no need to keep searching for hundreds of videos trying to fix it yourself. The more we talk, it becomes a diminishing problem. And it becomes less and less of a stigma. Okay. All right, let's get started with some of the answers to the questions we got. Um, I've also kept some of the slides from the previous webinars in this particular deck. We won't be going in detail with it, into detail with them, because each of the recordings are available on the link on the top right. You can see on our YouTube channel. But you know what were discussed in the previous webinars as well, so that you can go back and have a quick look. We keep on coming back to this statistic, and this is not far from truth if you look around. This was done by Iowa and Mental Health UK. 4 in 5 small business owners tell us they're experiencing poor mental health. And especially because this is a topic with stigma, there is less vocabulary, less help to understand how to talk about this, and people are not coming out, and the situation is a bit worse in different genders. So but this is a topic that is definitely needing some help right now. With business owners, it is really worse. Now, I'm combining two questions in here so that I don't reveal who sent these, but the main theme of these two questions were: how can I distinguish stress versus burnout versus anxiety versus depression? And I mean, people follow movies and so forth, and everything looks very bleak. And how do I know, is it a person being anxious, or he is really, or she is really being stressed out? And there are a bunch of things you can look out for, and this will lead to the second group of answers we give, where how do we spot signs of poor mental health. But mainly, let's start with the two bottom things: anxiety and depression. The two key differentiators as far as anxiety and depression are concerned, I would say, is in depression, people tend to withdraw. The key word is withdraw. And in anxiety, people tend to avoid. The key word is avoid. Now, going to the one above, burnout, people are overwhelmed. There are too many priorities. Energy management is very low. If you have seen our frameworks, when we go from blue, yellow, red to the green zone or the ready zone, you're mostly in the yellow zone, always in a rush, not finding time for your priorities, and going through things that you really have to do. And stress is the mildest form of all of this. Stress is an unnatural, stress is our body's response to an unnatural situation, which is not being balanced. That's the simplest way to put it. What would be a physical stress? If you're lifting up something, yeah, the muscles are stressed, and it's a good kind of stress. But if it repeats in the wrong way, if you are not doing in the right angle, right posture, it might hurt you. When it goes on for long, it will hurt you as well. Similarly, for mental health, and this long repeated example where in the olden days the tiger used to attack humans, and now we get attacked by our emotions and thoughts, with whatever truth is there in that kind of thing, but we feel unsafe. It's our response to that situation, and that feels stressed out. When this goes on for a long time without having a method to come back to our green zone, we feel burnt out. There are various methods to come to this green zone. Some of them are physical, using our body. We use the Mindly 10-10-10 challenge these days, where you move for 10 minutes, try a consistency for 10 days, and donate 10 quid to a charity of your choice. And you can find free videos, so no email required, no sales done, for both mental well-being and the exercises. Movement can actually help you over there. But if that physical stress is in the wrong direction, things start getting in completely in the wrong direction, going towards burned out. We have seen that happens with the mind side of things as well, and you can use body and mind to start feeling better. Now, when this goes on for a longer duration, and add to it the cognitive biases we have, like generalization. If somebody got hurt in, let's say, a car accident, all cars are dangerous. That's an example of generalization. If something happened with a flight, all flights will crash or something like that. That's a example of generalization. And there are 17 or 18 such cognitive biases that we use in our daily life. These are like glasses, you wear a yellow color spectacles and everything looks yellow. So these are like filters. When this goes on and on for a long time, the fear starts manifesting in our physical body. And because of this, we start feeling anxious. We get headaches, lack of sleep, faster breathing, and lack of clarity is there. So when somebody is feeling anxious and let's say they felt insulted, they're not even distinguishing between whether they really felt disrespected, insulted, or is it pure rage or anger. It's just straight goes to that kind of a situation. Every person has different response to anxiety. In order to not feel anxious, you must have seen a cycle in some of the previous webinars, but I'll verbally say it here. It's called anxiety distraction cycle. In order to not feel anxious, what do? We do something that engages us, gives us a small sense of diversion or purpose, or whichever way you look at it. Even watching Netflix for hours and hours is a diversion, a distraction. Then we feel good about it, but the anxiety comes back later if we have not processed it or not resolved it. So the key word, if you remember, with anxiety is we avoid a stressful situation. We avoid a stress trigger, and we avoid it to such extent that even a mere mention of our stress trigger can make us our palms sweaty, or the headache will come back, or we won't get sleep. If I have a deadline for a presentation at work, and even a mere thought of it in the middle of the night is going to make me wake up and not get sleep again. Okay, and we can feel it in the body. When it comes to the body, you will feel it. um, Depression goes uh, in another step, in a different direction. And remember, I'm trying to explain this in a common man's way, not in a medical terms. I'm trying to avoid jargon as much as possible. But in depression, the keyword is avoidance. What people do, sorry, the key word is withdrawal. I'm sorry. Anxiety is avoidance, depression is withdrawal. And people withdraw. It's like completely helpless. I mean, there is no point even thinking about that presentation anymore. You know what? If I'm not getting sleep, let me just lie down or just go eat some ice cream or something like that. And it's a different version of giving up at a different state. Of course, there are chemical changes happening, physical changes happening, but this is the main thing that is happening over here. Now, why is this question asked, and how is it relevant, especially in workplaces and inside families? The other questions in the chat box were about spotting these things and differentiating between them. As an example, there is no need to diagnose somebody with depression if it was something to do with burnout and a vacation could have helped. But how do we distinguish it? Or there was no point to be thinking of this as an anxious situation, or giving a team member or an employee a day off. Sometimes it doesn't help. In fact, they would really wanted to speak with you probably, and giving the day off might just take them back to watching Netflix for too long, or doing something that is not helpful to start with, right? So how do we do some spotting of these situations, poor mental health? Before I go into that, one simple thing is 80 to 90% of situations start with emotional regulation being unregulated. And we have to start preventative measures before it becomes so-called mental. And we generally use the general anxiety diagnostic tool, and there, beyond a score, we refer them to the local emergencies, local medical care. But 80 to 90% of them are not beyond that, which is why even in the UK, the NHS is struggling to manage those cases, because for them, they're not yet serious enough. But should we even wait until it is serious? Should we not do something at emotional regulations stage of things before it goes mental? And once the emotional regulation has not been happening for a long time, we start seeing four kinds of symptoms. The first one is physical. The second one is behavioral. The third one is emotional. And the fourth one is cognitive. And I'll give you some examples in each category. On purpose, I did not list down the symptoms because the list cannot be exhaustive in one slide. I'll give you some verbal examples. If you want, you can pause and take notes if you're listening to a recording. And if you are listening to the live version, don't worry, the recording will be available, and we'll share the screenshots as well on our website. Um, Remember the simple framework that we have, where, in fact, let me go to that slide, which it's towards the end of it. I wanted to keep it as backup. This is a simple model. You see S for social, I for individual, M for monetary, P for physical, L for love life, and E is in the center with emotional well-being. The reason I put it this way is when I come back to spotting mental health here, for not regulating emotions for a long time, we start seeing physical results. They could be a simple headache, muscle tension, Many times in our workshops, people don't realize how tight their jaws are. It's a symptom of feeling stressed out or feeling anxious or something else. Grinding teeth, backache happens. Posture is important in this case. You feel better if you go for a run, but after that you don't. Sometimes people run even if they're not feeling well. So if someone, including you, is feeling these symptoms, depending on the severity of the symptoms, definitely talk to someone. But this is where regulating your emotion and processing them will start taking you towards better mental health. The other physical symptoms could be, a racing heart, faster breathing. You won't feel like eating your favorite food, and these things have different levels of seriousness. I mean, some of them are straightforward depression, some of them are not, some of them are general. And if in doubt, talk to an expert, talk to someone. If you want, you can book a call with us, but at the same time, keep watching out. Sleeplessness is a very easy one. And many times people think that they are night owl and they're thinking that if they keep on working, it will be great. And they anyways feel tired in the morning and go to sleep. If it is natural, do it that way. But if it is not natural, it's not helping you. So look out for sleep patterns, any digestive issues that keep coming. Your favorite food is now giving you burping and any other sorts of symptoms. Uh, have a watch out for these physical symptoms, both for yourself and in anybody who you know. None of this directly seem that these are mental health problems, but these are the starting symptoms, I would say. Now, behavioral symptom, what changes? Your best friend starts blaming you. You start eating more each time you feel stressed out, or eating less. You run to have a coffee or a smoke or an ice cream. Substance abuse increases. These are behavioral things. Okay, it's not necessary. It's combining the physical side of things, but things are changing. Uh, you might see some people who are normally calm start snapping at you, or you start snapping at them. There are more accidents happening, and uh, and it could be small accidents or large, I mean, serious ones. You never know, but attention span is reducing. Some people might be fidgety or biting nails. They might be thinking of something worse about themselves. So these are behavioral symptoms that you can look out for. Let's not assume the reason. Let's not assume that you know the answers. These are just indications. If this becomes serious, we definitely do some signposting on how to take help. But these are normal symptoms. So does it directly say this relate to mental health? Not at all. Don't assume that you know the answer or don't jump to a conclusion, but good things to keep watching out as a sense of self-care. Emotional symptoms. You start feeling irritated. If you've seen our emotion matrix, we are mostly in the left side of the matrix. You feel frightened, worried, angry, overwhelmed, shame, and goes towards panicking and so forth. And this is where people are getting more and more serious about, hey, what do I do? I'm seriously feeling overwhelmed. And many times people withdraw, and depending on the nature of the person, nature of the situation, many times people try to fix everything. They keep watching hundreds of videos, try to fix everything. uh, the easiest thing to do would be to go to your support network, your friends, your family. You can create a support network of people using joining our calls. We have groups where you can join support networks. People used to say, how can I talk in a group about these emotions? Believe me or not, those same people said, this is my support network. These guys understand because I can be free in front of these people that, okay, we all are going through same situations. And it could, I mean, 80% of work related anxiety is not even originated at work. It might be because of the economy, it might be because of the weather, it might be because of bereavement, health situations. time situations, but it affects work, it affects our life, it affects our health. So think about it. And last comes the cognitive symptoms. Cognitive is all about recognize. I mean, how do you recognize your surrounding? How do you provide meaning to what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen? So, and these relate to worrying about the past, worrying about the future, feeling guilty, problems having focus, um, forgetting things, using words that you would not have used, or just swapping around names, difficulty making decisions, or prioritizing tasks, and some version of brain fog where you don't feel clear, unable to think clearly. And these are the things, if you are seeing in yourself or someone else, my first approach would be to, first of all, take a break, relax, use your body and mind to focus yourself. If you're doing the mindly 10-10-10, do some movement in a safe way, and be your own personal cheerleader, the frameworks that we share. But the least you should do is talk to someone, even if it is not related to what you're feeling. It definitely helps. You're not alone. I have been in the same situation. Hundreds and thousands of people around you are in the same situation, and you will be surprised with the amount of unjudgmental or non-judgmental support that flows in. And this is really true. I have been seeing this in our society these days. Things are really improving. So talk to someone. Okay. Now, here I kept from this point onwards, I'm being conscious of time. This point onwards, these are the slides from the previous webinars. So if you want to go into detail, you can always look into the date on the YouTube channel. I put the title accordingly, and you can go back and look at it. So general anxiety is where 80% of the situation stays, and this is the most preventive of them. And also this is one of those ones where NHS is not able to help as much as it could, because there are more serious situations, or in the health service of your country. When I mean NHS in the UK is the National Health Service. But there are other types of anxiety as well, and we focus on the general anxiety side of things. Some of the things that we do at Mindly are discovery calls, coffee mornings, workshops for groups, no sales webinars for free, email helplines, and one-to-one discussions. February the 2nd was Time to Talk Day. Do we take enough time to talk about someone's mental situation, especially your mental situation? And I have shared a link for how Mindly works with workplaces and group workshops. In the US and in many places in the world, it's also celebrated as Boost Your Self-Esteem Month, the month of February. So if you see people being overwhelmed, don't think it's just a personality, oh, this person is always like that. If the person is getting burned out, emotional breakdowns, worried about money, economy, dealing with uncertainty. I mean, if people are being fired in the company, what are the other people thinking in that company? And this is not just thinking, oh, just buckle up, pull up your socks and move on. It's a bit beyond. And this, at this stage, it's the highest rate of prevention is there. When we start from prevention, it won't even go towards the mental side of things. So contact us for a simple discussion. You can take some screenshots over here. So this is available on the internet if, with Google search. I don't know if the source is visible down. I can share the source. Yeah, there it is. The source is visible at the bottom. And you can see the mind-blowing statistics about mental health and its impact in workplaces. The one number, if I had to choose from here, is 11% lower turnover than employers doing something. I mean, if you're an employer doing something about well-being, people know it. People know that you care, and they stay in the company for longer. These are the things we use to quantify the business case for mental well-being. The left side are the ones where things are not working right, and the right side are the ones where are the positive impact of having well-being, or a program for well-being, or a policy for well-being, or at least a signpost for well-being. Okay. In here, I want to clarify there is a difference between mental health first aid and mental wellness. First aid is about identifying and signposting, but wellness is doing something about it. Okay. And how do you know that? What do you do next? And who is the right person, and so forth. You can again take a screenshot of this, but one key component that gets missed out is the customer satisfaction part of it. When your employees and your teams are happy, customers know it, customers feel it. This is the simple model that we talked about, and that's it for today's free webinar in answering questions. What I've also done is taken some more questions during today's call, but couple of those questions are a topic on its own. So I'm going to talk about it next Tuesday, and we'll see each other once more. So just to end, remember that you are not alone. We are together. Okay, we might feel alone, but we are together alone. So let's do it together. Let's take care of each other. Let's talk a bit more about this stigma topic, and that itself is going to help you. Talk safely with Mindly and keep taking care of yourself. Thank you for listening.